That's also would be if Texas had its own president, but if they seceded, and
Right.
I guess they would have their. I mean, I'm not sure how that entire process would work.
That's basically all I'm saying. How difficult, how fighting as a soldier, knowing what you're fighting for is more important to you than the other guy on the other side is more important to him.
All right, perfect. Let's talk about that, because I have heard stories that Russian soldiers, fighting in Ukraine, and even not only soldiers, but officials that are down in Ukraine, governing, as you will say, the territory gained. We will say they haven't been paid. They aren't being fed. At what point in time are you just like?
I don't. I'll be honest.
Now, you being a former veteran, this is in particular where your insight will come into play. I believe it will be valuable.
First of all, I think that's probably more propaganda than truth. I don't foresee the lines of supply being broken down from a powerful military like the Russians. As much as I don't believe they're as strong as the United States military is, I don't think that is like the number one thing that any military bases its strength off of, is its supply lines.
Okay, that's fair, but even though the ruble is down, like I believe 30% or so at this recording, at this point in time, from where it was pre-invasion. So if your money has lost 30% of its value, think about that. That's like supermassive inflation over the course of 6 months. That's basically hyperinflation levels.
Well, if you're saying the supply lines are being disrupted from Russians getting,
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Well, if they're not getting food,
if they're not getting food, they're not getting paid.
Disrupted, and they're not getting paid. Okay, so first of all,
this is just what I'm hearing.
So
too, also
now we're talking about the possibility of the supply lines being stronger for Ukraine because so much money and weapons and arms and supplies are being pumped into that country from Europe and the United States. So you're strengthening the supply lines for the Ukrainians, and the Russians, they're not getting the things that they need to win a war through their supply lines. And so while they're in Ukraine, they have to divert some of their energy into going into the local areas and taking what they need from the locals in order to survive and continue to succeed in their invasion.
Yeah.
So that weakens the Russian army.
Right, but I mean, at the same point in time, I mean, they're just going to do that because a hungry man needs to eat, right?
Oh yeah, they're gonna take what they need.
That's fair.
I mean, sometimes they might have, and there might be war crimes committed in the process of taking these items. But you want to say that? See, war crimes that's a weird term, to be completely honest with you. There is no law in war to keep you from succeeding in your
well, okay, for your end goal and everything, but there has to be some sort of morality, I would say, on a human level. You know what I mean? If a guy surrenders, he's now your prisoner, right?
It depends on my situation.
What's your situation? Are you going to eat him? Are you hungry?
If I have to.
Woo! Okay.
I look. If it comes down to my survival and the other guy, if I don't have a place to put this guy to make him a prisoner, then I'm not taking him prisoner. Because I'm not babysitting him while I'm trying to win a war.
Okay.
Now, I know other people may disagree with me on that, but that is reality. war crime is a strange term, and unless I have the capability of following all these laws without hindering myself too much, fine, I'll follow them. But otherwise, if I don't have all the support and ability to follow these rules, then these rules are just going to get me killed.
I mean, I understand your point, but I don't know. I mean, at some point in time, you just you feel like
there's zero survival. There's zero morality in survival.
Yeah.
There is only to a limit. There is a limit.
Oh, I guess the question
that limit is based,
where is that limit at?
That limit is based at my personal situation.
So it's basically a day by day thing.
Yes. If I have a place to, if I have support in the background where I can take this guy and I can bring him and he'll stay prisoner, then okay, he's a prisoner. If I am just trying to sludge my way through a fucking field where I got fucking millions of bullets flying over my head, and this guy's just gonna slow me down, or he's just playing like he's being captured. Just to get me later, because he's not in a good situation, because that's something that he would do and I would do to survive, then he's just a hindrance to me, and I need to get him out of the way so I can keep going.
It's quite honestly not where I expected that bit of conversation to go, but very great insight from a former veteran. We will say
this is just realizing and understanding
the world is not as cut and dry as everyone would like to think it is.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. The world is a dirty, nasty place and we live in this great bubble where we can live by all the rules and survive handsomely. But out there in the rest of the world, people don't live like that.
I mean, yeah. That is totally fair. Especially now that I got a little more insight into where you were coming from on that original statement. I was actually shocked for a second. I was like, what?
These are part of the things. Like if society breaks down, this is why most people won't survive.
Yes, I agree.
They don't understand the harsh realities of the world and what it takes to keep going.
First of all, as soon as the electric goes out, the cell towers and everything go out, 20% of the population will instantly kill themselves because they don't have a phone to fucking stare at anymore.
They'll panic.
I've said this many times. You heard it here first.
Most of the deaths are going to start occurring when people are fighting for food at the grocery stores that are no longer there.
Well, that's going to be the next 20%.
Right. I think it's going to be higher than
that. I mean, that's actually probably fair assessment.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be around 40 to 50.
We'll get into that at a later date.
Right.